following video is for the Certified Private Equity Professional Program. Today we're going to look at the management buyout and how it relates to private equity. The management buyout is essentially a type of transaction wherein a team of executives or management for a company decide to buy it out from its parent company or shareholders. So we're going to look at the basics of this. So Company X will be either underperforming, or the team of executives over here, the management, believes that they can run it better, or that the current management, the owners actually, are not doing enough to make the company succeed. Maybe they're not being as flexible with the management and letting them run their own company. But for some reason they are dissatisfied with the owners, or they just would like to take control of the company. Owners and or public shareholders. So the management has the goal of taking control of the company, but they often lack the capital to do so. So they will look out to a private equity partner. So they'll look at a private equity firm or a consortium of firms, and they will sort of petition them for an investment in the company in order to take control of the company and allow the management team to do the things that they think are necessary for Company X to succeed. And so the private equity firm would be taking on a bit of risk for this, so they kind of require that the management team show that they have a vested interest in it. So they'll often ask them to commit a bit of capital to it in order to make the deal work. So the management team will probably take on a level of debt. The private equity firm will then provide the capital so that the management can complete the buyout from the current owners or shareholders and wrest control of Company X. So in the more specifics of it, Guy Fraser Sampson notes in his book, Private Equity as an Asset Class, this was a very popular practice in the UK during the 1990s. There was a string of these types of transactions, the management buyouts. More recently, though, the management buyout has proven a less popular buyout method than the leverage buyout, especially the leverage buyout activity you saw during the 2000s, before the financial crisis. In its pure form, the management would enlist an accountancy firm to act on its behalf in the deal, helping to construct a business plan that is then discreetly presented to buyout firms that would potentially partner with the management team. The management team is then expected to commit significant capital to the deal to show skin in the game, as people often say, usually by taking on a high level of debt, because these management, although they're probably very well compensated, they don't have the type of capital necessary to do a buyout like this. So in exchange for that risk, the management team is rewarded with preferential equity in the company, usually given some sort of package that makes it very lucrative for them if the company succeeds, sort of an incentive deal. When a buyout firm commits to the buyout, then the responsibilities often shift away from the management team and to the buyout firm, which then finalizes the deal, comes up with a valuation, proposes that, and hopefully, if all goes well, the owners or the shareholders accept, and they are able to take over that company and put the original management in place, and hopefully they will succeed and do the type of changes that they had been looking to make. Or if they just believed that they wanted the control of the company and would like to oust the current owners or shareholders, they may keep running it as it has been running, but the private equity firms will often put into place that management team and maybe make some changes, offer some suggestions. They usually have a background in that sector, so they'll provide some sort of consulting, and that is usually how the management buyout is done in its pure form, although there are many variations on this. I hope that this has been a good overview of the management buyout and how it works with private equity firms. This was recorded for the Certified Private Equity Professional Program. Thank you for watching. The following video is for the Certified Private Equity Professional Program. In today's lesson, we're going to look at the buy-in management buyout. This is commonly called the Bimbo, as the acronym BIMBO. So in the Bimbo, it is an amalgamation of the management buy-in and the management buyout, combining aspects of both buyout transactions. In this short lesson, we're going to take a look at both the management buyout and the management buy-in to show you the difference and to show you how the buy-in management buyout is a combination of both. So Company X here is owned by these owners or shareholders, and they also have a management team that's put in place. So these are the executives running the company, and they're running it under the owners. And the management team believes that either they can run the company better, or they would just like to be free of the owners, or they would want to have more control over the direction of the company without being responsible to the shareholders or board or anything like that. So they will often enlist private equity They will enlist private equity to help finance the deal, providing the capital that they most often lack. Even though a management team may be well compensated, they don't have the type of capital necessary to take control of a major company or corporation. So this is what occurs in a management buyout, because it is a current management team. Now, in a management buy-in, usually a team of executives from perhaps a rival company or something in the same sector. So the main difference, although there are other subtle differences in the way that it's controlled and everything, it would be that it's an outside management team. So an outside management team is coming in and basically taking control of this company that operates typically in the same sector, especially if it's going to be successful. They usually have a bit of knowledge of the sector, usually operate in the same sector, or have a part of this outside management team's company works in the same sector, so they are familiar with the business and they ideally know how to operate it, or know what management to put in place to operate it successfully and better than the current management team or owners. So this is what will happen in a management buy-in. There'll be an outside management team, sometimes taking on private equity to help finance the deal, and this is how that type of transaction works. So there is a management buyout and a management buy-in. So what is a Bimbo, or a buy-in management buyout? Well, the buy-in management buyout is a combination of the management buyout and the management buy-in, and it's thus a type of transaction which involves features from both. One example would be if a senior executive we'll take a look here. If a senior executive works for Company X, so he has formerly worked for Company X or currently works for him, will put together a consortium of management in whether it's usually existing managers from inside the same target company. So this senior executive will combine with those existing managers to form a type of buyout, and this would be the buy-in management buyout because it combines features of both, because it's taking the existing managers but also outside management in the form of the senior executive or group of senior executives that formerly worked in the same sector or currently work in the same sector. Often for the target company, they'll establish a management consortium with the existing managers from inside the target company, and then they may still enlist private equity, but this distinguishes it from the typical management buy-in or the typical management buyout. So I hope this provided you with a good overview of the buy-in management buyout, also known as Bimbo, B-I-M-B-O. All right, this was for the Certified Private Equity Professional Program. Thank you for watching.